Okay, I want to welcome everyone. I'm not used to slide sharing, but I'm going to do it here. But this is staying grounded in uncertain times. It's all about how we women leaders navigate our change, and we do it with clarity, we do it with strength, and we do it with connection. And that's kind of like the opening there. I'm this again, this is for everyone. I have my story, I have my way of doing things and having control of my life. And certainly I have a friend on here, Glenda, and she certainly knows what all I have been through. And she's been a great cheerleader. So Glenda, from that point of view, I appreciate people like you. You have no idea. Um, but I'm just going to let you know, and then I want you to share your story because you have a unique way of handling things too. It's not just one-way street here, it's everyone's street. And by doing that, it's going to hit the note for someone. And also realize that this session is recorded so that other people can look at it when their time allows. So with that being said, I'd like to start out by kind of sharing my life in like it's kind of like going to the horse races, although I don't bet or anything like that. But I use the term trifecta, and that's kind of how I look at my life. And I feel like, and I also often refer to the triangle. If you look at the shape of the triangle, it's the shape of the pyramid. And if you look at the history of the pyramid and what the pyramid stands for, it stands for strength and power. And I find that fascinating. That's always intrigued me. The shape of the triangle is the shape of the pyramid. And the pyramid is all about strength and power. And also, we've also often been told that people tend to remember things in groups of three better than any other grouping. I mean, this is research that I've done. I'm sure that you are aware of it too. So I've kind of broken my life down into that three part triefka, if that makes sense. And this is how I look at it. First, I have to look at it from an economic point of view because whatever's going on in the economy is going to affect my buying power. And there are adjustments to be made. I'm going to be in agreement in some ways and not in agreement in other ways. So whenever I am not in agreement, I have a voice. And I think that's what we all should do is express our voice and let it be known why we're in disagreement and try to impart or influence some kind of change along the way. But also recall when it is good and don't just take it for granted. I think too often we take things for granted. When the economy is working in a good place for your life, then be grateful and express your grateful, pass that gratefulness on and let the government or your representative or whoever represents you know how grateful you are that things are going the way they are. So you have a voice to be grateful or to say, I want change. I don't agree with this. So that's one because that affects my buying power. So I have to take a stand there. My second category is my personal life. And trust me, my personal life has been all over the place. And I'm sure that there are pieces of my survival in my life that all of you can relate to, or you can relate to a piece of it. I've three times now. I've been a survivor where I wasn't supposed to see tomorrow. Once from a drowning. Once I was a victim of a stabbing at a high-end department store because I tried to stop a thief. Don't ever try to stop the thieves. Let them go. I made the mistake of trying to stop one and got stabbed in return. And cancer. And I live a very, very healthy life. And I'm proud of my healthy choices. But that doesn't mean cancer is going to bypass me because it didn't. And it surprised me when I ended up in ER and found out I had a very rare cancer called carcinoid. So I'm in remission. So that's the good news. Um, During these economic times right now, because we're faced with so much uncertainty, I got hit with another bombshell when my husband filed for a divorce during this time. So it's like, oh my God, in the middle of all this, I now also have to handle going through a divorce. But I had to tell myself, I'm not the one that quit. He quit. I'm willing to keep on making things work. He's not. So you have to kind of not, you have to take that kind of responsibility and you have to know, I have to know, I'm preaching to you and I'm not trying to do that, but I have to tell myself constantly that I didn't quit. I gave it my best and I will stay strong and I will find a way to get through this because it is what it is. And I have to make another adjustment and accept it. So that's what I have to do in my personal life. I think the one thing we should not do, or I don't do, I shouldn't be preaching to you again, but the one thing I don't want to do is put myself into a pity party mode and bring other people down with me by whining or crying or complaining or bringing them into that part of my world because they don't need it. They've got enough stuff going on. I have to take responsibility for me, and I always do. I find a way to get through it. And one of the ways I do, if any of you, well, Glenda's been to my home, but I will find a project. And when my mind is emotionally in turmoil like that, whether it's economic reasons or personal reasons, et cetera, when it's in that economic turmoil, I find a project to absorb myself in so I control how my mind thinks and where it's thinking. And I might paint a bench, and I have done that. I might take a cinder block wall in my backyard and decide it needs a mural and put a mural on it. But I will do something, or I might sew something and make something. But I would do something to occupy my mind so I keep it as much as possible in a healthy place. My third one certainly is from the professional realm, and it's my business. It's very, very important to me, just as each and every one of us has a business, has a career, and it's very important to us. But sometimes things happen and they don't go the way we want them to, and it creates even more uncertainty. I might have a standstill with my business. I'm not quite getting the seminars I used to get, the training programs I used to get. Well, instead of whining and complaining about what's not happening and what I'm not getting, I kind of look at it and I kind of go, well, maybe I need to be doing things differently. And maybe I need to examine what has worked, what has not worked, and kind of put a new plan together, which I'm in the middle of doing right now. So that's mine. That's how I do it. So going to you now, I'm going to share another slide here, and I want you to look at it, and I want you to pick pick an area that you can share with all of us that makes sense to you. So bear with me here while I find my slide. And here it is. What grounds you during uncertain times? Think about that. That might be one you want to pick and chat. And then that you're going to be the first one out of the gate here. So you be picking here. What personal practices, routines, or mindset shifts help you stay centered and focused during these times of uncertainty? Or as I shared my trifecta, which one of those three affects you the most? If you're working with teams, how do you help your team or yourself rise above what can't be what's the word, control, what can't be controlled? How are you inspiring resilience in others? And at the very end of this session, the last 10 minutes, I'd like to go back to everyone, each and every one of you, and have each of you share your positivity tip or tips. You might have more than one. I have about 3 or 4 of them that kind of get everything to end on a really, really great positive note. So I'm going to stop the share, and I'm going to go over to you. And let's see where we at here. Annette, correct? Would you pick one and share?
Yes, thank you very much. I know some of the experiences that you were talking about, and it's also already my third life. And yeah, so I'm happy to be here. And yeah, what really grounds me is the first thing really is to breathe. And every time, and I do it also when I wake up in the night and something is coming to my mind and kind of troubling me, then I'm really taking very deep breath. And even though sometimes when I wake up, my heart goes like this, then
Mhm.
after some very deep breath, I can really calm it down and then I can calm down my whole body. And what I've learned is everything starts with me and starts inside me. And so, what you said, what I can always do, and this also grounds me, I can always change my thoughts from thoughts
Mhm.
of not being good enough or that I can't do it to thoughts, okay, I'll find a way. Or what I really like is a sentence from Abraham Hicks, it's everything's always working out for me.
Yeah.
And so during the, yeah, already many years during my lifetime, I've learned that in everything that doesn't go as I had expected, there is always kind of a gift in disguise. and then to be patient. And I also have to admit that it's not always easy for me when I receive this hidden gifts, and sometimes it's really not a nice surprise, and then I think, okay, there must be something in it, and so there is something in it. And the third thing that really is very good for me is to really connect to nature. So I've just come back from a short walk in the woods, because I knew that today I wouldn't have enough time as usual. And so when I come back, then I really feel different. And so I really would like to do the same as you do, encourage others to really see their own power and their own strength. And at present, I'm reading a book by Rebecca Campbell, Rise, Sister, Rise. And I think that's so important in these times, that we as women, that we kind of offer a helping hand to each other to be more resilient and more positive, and yeah, to have more confidence.
I relate to all three and forgot to take myself off mute. We're going to do something different here, Annette, that we've done in past Zooms, and I think it's really great. But as you speak and finish, you call on the next person. So Annette, would you call on someone?
Okay. Yeah, so I'll call Laura.
Thank you, Annette. So Laura Rigudo, I'm calling in from Canada. Nice to be here. Yeah, I ground myself in, I'm a triathlete, I'm a marathon runner. I just ran a marathon 2 days ago. And I know that people think I'm crazy, including my mother, who thinks that in my 50s I should stop. But I've been an athlete my whole entire life, and I feel like that's my mental health. That's my, it's my everything, actually. I'm taking care of physical, I'm taking care of mental more than anything, because when life gets busy and you're being pulled into all kinds of directions, I make space for doing what I enjoy doing, and the results that I like to achieve. So I'm very goal oriented. So I can't imagine not having those big goals, and many people think I'm crazy, but that's just understanding the way you work, understanding what's important to you, and not listening to the noise. And I feel that I'm better in my profession when I've taken time for myself to do the steps, take those steps to achieve personal goals. I feel like I'm better and more confident when I'm speaking in teams and working in my professional life. So that's how I find my strength and my balance. And by adding more, perhaps some people see it as more stress in my life, but I need that. I need that stress to really fulfill my life. So
Thank you, Laura. I want to add on your running. My son, who's 50, just finished the Boston Marathon.
oh, great.
So it's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing that. But
I know.
He did. That was his goal, to train himself till he got to the point where he could qualify. He did, and he did it. He said he finished someplace in the middle
Oh, that's
because he
great.
got a bad cramp. But Laura, would you call on somebody?
I will. I'll call on you, Pauline.
Laura. Thank you, Laura. I love the fact that you mentioned the word crazy. I definitely think that's part of my life. I think what grounds me during uncertain times is being excited. A lot of people are scared about uncertainty, but I often say to my kids, it's scary, exciting. And my son will say to me, "Oh, don't be scared." I said, "No, you've got to watch. It's scary, exciting. It's like, jumping off a cliff. Not that I would do that, but I have done some, underwater, blackwater rafting, and I've done some crazy things in my life. And I think now, going to be 76 this May. I'm definitely crazy for thinking I can transform the world, but that's what I believe. And I think I love the idea of thinking differently. Um, just the idea of there's always a possibility. There's always something different. So when I get stuck, that's what I do. I think, okay, don't want to be stuck. Let's look somewhere different. And also, like Annette said, go outside. I don't run marathons. I'm not, and I try to do more exercise, but I just moved to a place with some lovely trees and a small swimming pool. And I'm thinking, right, this is somewhere where I can do some gentle exercise. I've got my little cycle outside on the patio. Not that I do it very often, but I think this idea of expect the unexpected. We're in a time when we just don't know what the news is going to tell you, and you don't even know if the news is real. So you have to be internally focused and be sure. And also, like Laura said, is that big mission. That's what keeps me going, especially when I think everything is against me, which it often occurs. But I go, no, if it's not me, then who? And I know so many amazing people who also want to bring the world alive, especially through women. So the idea of women's hearts connected across the world, almost women's wombs are connected across the world. I do a lot of visualization on that. And I just wanted to pick up on what you said, Gloria, about the triangle. I love shapes and I love the triangle. And I also love numbers and the 3, 6, 9, what Tesla talks about, the magic numbers. I just moved house and everything was 3, 6, or 9. Absolutely everything. The month we chose, the number we chose to sell the house at, the date we sold, the date my dog passed away, the day I went to New York back, the day I moved, they were all 3, 6s, and 9s. And I ended up in an apartment which is number 123, which is 6 in building 6, in a postcode that adds to 9. And it's called Angel Point. So I believe in thinking differently and looking for signs. And sometimes you don't see the signs till afterwards. But when you track them, you go, wow, is the world as uncertain as we think? It's just that we don't know what it is. So that's what I feel is a good thing to do. And how help other people to rise is to share those ideas, but also to listen. I think if we listen from our hearts as well as our heads, we're bound to find some synergy. And I think that's the thing for me. The go-to tip is to remember everything is in the present, the past is past, and we don't know the future yet. So stay where we are.
Thank you.
And
I liked your point about signs because I've been getting a lot of signs lately, more than you can imagine, that I'm supposed to move from Arizona to North Carolina. I even had to get a rental car when I was in an accident, a rental car, and the license plate said North Carolina. So I relate. Pauline, would you call in somebody, please?
I'm gonna invite Glenda.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Pauline. Oh my goodness, it's such wonderful, wonderful input I'm getting from you all. Okay, so grounded. It started with me when I was 6 years old. That time I didn't even know what it meant to be grounded, but I saw women grounded while they were having the tea. So my grandmother and her girlfriend were meeting every Wednesday. I did not even know about it. I was sick, so I could participate from a distance. But that kind of feeling is really what groundedness was for me now. And I felt like that is what I always want to experience, to be grounded. And honestly speaking, it hasn't been easy because, sometimes things are happening in your life and it's really hard to ground yourself. But through the years, I have learned to, what is her name again? Is it Annette? I'm not so sure. But anyway, she said something about breathing. That is the number one thing for me, is the breathing technique. And after the breathing technique is really, really saying my favorite quote, and it is from Arthur Ashe. He was a very famous tennis player. He said, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. This is such a powerful mantra for me whenever I'm getting a little bit overwhelmed, that really only just repeating the sentence, that really already grounds me. And with that, then my heart is calmer and I can then think clearer, and that can give me strength so I can really connect with people that I need to connect with, because you're going to need connection in order to really move forward. And I'm telling you, Gloria is an amazing, amazing speaker, incredible insight, and has always been a big inspiration for me. So thank you so much for inviting me, Gloria, and listen to these awesome ladies. But this is what I usually use, is the breathing technique, and really helped. And through that, I think I can finally have a mindset that I can think clearer. And with that, I can move on to the next step, which is, kind of getting more calm in my heart. My brain is at peace, and more, I can have bigger space where I can really get more information, and I can connect with the people I love who can help me move forward. So that is my sharing for today.
Yeah, Glinda, you're going to share one more thing here. When you talked about your mother getting together with her neighbors on the tea, talk about the word intention there.
The what?
The word intention that you learned
Oh,
at a young age.
well, with
like
that, we
that.
started the tea.
I know,
Well,
but
I don't know. It's just really, really great to see that how these women came together. That's the first time I saw woman power, 6 years old, and I saw my grandmother with her girlfriend sitting under that big cherry tree drinking their tea. And because of that, I really wanted to have that kind of group of women drinking tea and starting something that could really help all of us, not just me, but all of us, to really move forward to something bigger. And I think that is how we started our tea a couple of years ago, and Tea with Intention. And Gloria came with that title, by the way. And we started really doing something where we would have meetings every month, and women would drink their tea or whatever they have, and they would share an incredible insight or maybe their story. So really, really grateful for that experience. Thanks, Gloria, for reminding me.
We have Canada here, but share where you're actually originally from.
I am originally from Suriname, which is in South America, on top of Brazil. So my first language is Dutch, because we were a colony from Holland. And I have been here in America for almost 35 years. Thank you.
Okay, now you get to call on someone.
I'm going to be calling my wonderful grand Nisha.
Oh, thank you for that. I was like, um, it's been amazing listening to you ladies, and from what I've been hearing and what resonates with me is what keeps me grounded is my mindset, knowing that I am resilient and I have got through uncertainty before. It lets me know that I can get through it now. Some things like being unhoused. I've never went through that before in my life, but I know from the age of 18 until 41, I knew I had the structure and how to keep things together. And it never was a lack of paying bills, but it was just the mindset that I was in, and it transformed my life tremendously. And another thing is I don't have a huge team, but I have people in the community where I call my family and my people. Living out my truth with the mindset that I have, it helps them to live out theirs as well. I get messages and things from people saying, your story inspires me. Thank you for sharing your truths, and thank you for being authentic. And that helps me on a daily basis, because I'm not doing it just for me. I'm doing it for my community and my legacy that I'm building. And it helps me so much, like being here today. I know a few of you ladies, and it's just like I need to be in this space, I need to be in that room, and it goes back to my mindset. So my mindset keeps me grounded. Like I said, if I got through A, I can get through B, and I'm going to get through C. And I just keep it simple. I don't complicate anything, and I just keep thinking with a forward mindset. So a positive thing that I would like to leave with you ladies is, no matter what you're faced with through life, think of something positive on the other side. Once I get through this, how will life look? What will life be like for me? Because it's at that moment, it's about you. It's not about anyone else. It's not about your community, your family, or your legacy. It's about you. And with that, I'm going to send it over to Kat.
Okay, Kat, I know, do you want to release your audio so we can hear you? Are you there? It's difficult because some people are not video here, they're strictly audio. Are you there, Kat?
Kat has written in the chat that she says she's with a client and therefore she's only listening if you read the chat.
Okay, Rhonda, will you go then?
Yeah, I can go. I
Good.
didn't turn on my video when I came in, because I've got a very bad cold and I was late because I was working with my team. And so I wanted to start with a team question, and I have this wonderful thing that I have on my desk, which can move and show you all different kinds of things. And the one that I always look at when I need help to figure out where we're going is this one that's here. And it says, chart your own course. Our destiny is shaped by our thoughts and our actions. We cannot direct the wind, but we can adjust the sails.
I like that.
There is no uncertainty. There's just how we deal with the things that are going on in our world. And if there are things that we can't control, everybody has things that they can't control, then it's up to us to find the alternatives of the things that we can control. And that's what my team and I, who are global, we were just talking about new systems that we want to set up. And I said, the original system that I thought would work for us, the gentleman has told us it hasn't. So I went out and looked for a new system. So for me, it's always making sure, that we need to have the chance to say it's not stuck. Just because we don't control it doesn't mean it's stuck. That means we have to find an alternative. And the other thing that really keeps me going, especially in interacting with lots of wonderful people, as you ladies are here today, but also others, is to match the expectations that we have. So when you come into the room and you believe that there is something going on, or you have an idea about how things are going to work, if you don't know what the expectations are from your counterpart, it's very hard to meet in the middle. And I don't believe in setting expectations, and I don't believe in meeting expectations. I believe in matching expectations. And if we do that, then of course, we're not saying we can't control anything. We're not saying we're uncertain. We're taking our own responsibility. We're putting it together with the other party, and we're coming up to something that works together. And we believe in the power of co-creation. So that's the way we run our business. And I just wanted to put that out as a partial response to the questions you had. And as I said, I just came in late, sorry, and that's why I didn't turn on my video. And I have a very bad cold, so that's why I didn't have my camera on before. And I'm looking to see if I could choose Venita. Venita, can you speak? I didn't see anything in the chat.
Oh,
I don't know.
Yes, sorry.
good. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, thanks. Yes, I'm Vanita. I work at the Mill, the Global Business. I manage the Global Business Center. And everyone so far, all the little pointers have been really good. Some of them is absolutely what I resonate with. I love Glenda's tea idea because that's something that I work with, and that's been very helpful for me and for others as well. But I do it more to be inclusive. So just bringing inclusivity, which is bringing people together, and asking everybody's thoughts and letting them share what they want to share, because if it's uncertain times for me, it's uncertain times for everybody else, and we don't know what they're feeling or what they're thinking. So if you get your group of friends together and then you just let them talk and just listen, because something within that group would resonate, as a lot of things in this group right now is resonating with me. So that's something I think that's very important, and that I try to instill with my groups, and I work a lot with the community too. So I want to hear what everybody's thinking and kind of analyze and change the process. For me personally, I love music, so I would play music, I would dance, and then going outdoors for a walk. So walking sometimes help me to rethink things and change my mindset and just get that adrenaline going, and then you come back with so much other things that you can do differently or think differently. So I think those are some of the things that resonate with me. And I love to analyze the situation just to look at different aspects and rethink processes and how we can do something different. Not necessarily, I mean, it can be better, but just think of different ways in doing things because everybody's mind thinks differently and process things differently. So it's good to listen and listen to that as well. So those are my thoughts, on staying grounded. So right now, let's see. Gloria?
Well, maybe Charlene.
Okay. Charlene?
Okay,
Yes,
she can't
hello,
be called.
hello. I'm just here to listen, and I would prefer not to make any comments right now.
Okay,
Okay,
understood.
it's really interesting, and I'm just enjoying listening to everybody. Thank you.
Okay, who has not, who's on audio, I'm seeing that awkwardly, is able to speak? Rabia?
Hi, how are you? Good evening, everyone. This is Rabia Omar. I'm the Executive Director for Global Chamber and heading Pakistan. And I'm the partner for Spencer West UK for Pakistan and Dubai. I'm so glad to meet you all. And, Chicago is very near and dear to me. My family is in Chicago, so I would love to play a role here. Anything I can add value with, we're into merger acquisition, business succession planning, restructuring, litigation. We help startups, scale-ups, like businesses, like looking for equity partners. We work with family offices globally and private equity partners. We would love to associate with private equity partners and VCs in Chicago and see how we can work together. I work a lot in the African region as well. I work with the governments of Ghana, Tanzania, Kenya. We work with public-private partnership projects, healthcare, renewable energy, hospitality, infrastructure related. So how we can add value through our global chambers, I would love to do that. Thank you.
We also have a gentleman among our midst, Theory. Would you like to share? I think Theory's in Utah. And you might just be listening. Is anyone else that has something to share that we have not heard from yet? Okay, then we're going to go to the final phase of this, and that is sharing tips. Each and every one of you just share that tip, and I'll kind of get you going here with a few of mine, just kind of stimulate some ideas. Let me see what I have here. My tips are these. I want to close with some positivity tips, and the ones that I've selected, and certainly I would like you to add to the list, but trust in the magic of new beginnings. As I said earlier, when all the uncertainty hit, both economically and personally for me, I really had to think in terms of new beginnings. And I'm just going to share something interesting to you. I'm going to talk about flowers for a minute. I'm all about color. Anybody who knows me knows I'm always very colorful in my environment, and I think colorfully too. But I have this bed of flowers. All of you, I think you have that. And last year, I tend to plant the same color grouping. It's usually reds, violets, yellow, white, and about the same number of various flowers. Last year, for some odd reason, the violet ones dominated that flower bed. Even though I planted equal amounts of all the colors, that one dominated. So then I had to look at the color violet and think, what does that color mean? What is that color telling me? And it's all about spirituality. So I thought, well, maybe this is a time when I'm supposed to really be looking at the spiritual side of my life. So I started to. Okay, you ready? This year, when I replanted those plants, the same grouping, the same amount of colors, which color do you think dominated this time? Which color is all about new beginnings? It's really amazing. It's white. So white just took over in an amazing way. And so I looked at my flower bed and I thought, why are all the white ones dominating? Where's my purple ones? Where's my red ones? Where's my yellow ones? They're kind of getting drowned out. Then I looked into white and I looked at it and said, oh my God, That is amazing. It's all about new beginnings. That's what white is all about. So I thought, I guess that's my sign. And we talked about signs. I think someone earlier said, I think Annette maybe said something about signs. And I thought, well, that was another sign. My next one is inspire others by being true to yourself. Think about who you are. There are people in all our lives. I certainly have them in my life that don't like the way I do things, don't like the way I handle things and try to dictate differently to me. But, sometimes you have to really look at yourself and say, but you know what? I kind of like the way God made me to be. I'm going to stay the way God intended and made me to be, regardless of your opinion. I can't be you. I have to be me. And that's probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned. I certainly wish I knew that when I was a teenager, dealing with, all the friendships that were working and not working. I didn't understand a lot of this back then. I wish I did. Then next, rise above the challenges and do it with confidence. Posture confidence. Put it in your posture. Look confident, always sitting up straight, walking with a good. It's good for your body too, not just just posturing, but it's good for your body, and it shows confidence. And then be bold, be brave, and Global Chamber's byline is always unstoppable. So I thought, oh no, I'm going to have to put unstoppable in each and every one of us based on what I think I heard from everyone just now. You are all very unstoppable women. That being said, let's go back to the drawing board, and whoever's left there, I know some of you had to leave, you couldn't stay, so I'm going to stop the share here and go back to, let's see, Rhonda, we have Rabia, Rhonda, Vanita, who do we have? Paul, let's go back to Pauline. Pauline, will you share your tips? And then we'll start over.
Sorry, what was that, Gloria, to share?
You're going to share your tips. I shared about 4 tips on how we can stay in control of our life and things moving forward.
I think first tip is to always remember you always have a choice. And if you don't make a choice, that's a choice. So I have an acronym which is CORE, and the C is choice, the O is ownership, the R is responsibility, and the E is energy. So when we make the right choices and take ownership of them, even if other people around us are saying, no, you shouldn't do that. It's that ownership that becomes grounded. And the responsibility is not to burden your shoulders, but to realize that when you do good, other people find the good, but you don't always know what it is. My 6-year-old granddaughter, who's now a huge 15-year-old, when she was 6, she said to me one night, "You don't know my life, Grandma, and I don't know what your life is about." And that was at 6. I thought,
Wow.
oh my God, this is a very intuitive young woman who knows exactly who she is. She's now 15 and an amazing swimmer and 5'9", which is a lot taller than me. So the responsibility is not to burden yourself and say, oh my God, I've got to do all these things, but to say, no, I'm part of this world, and whatever I do, it impacts other people. I always learned a long time ago that genuine confidence, the only thing you can do with it is to give it away. I allow people to feel it. So that all increases the E, which is energy. And all we are is energy. So we're energy, frequency, vibration, and remember the numbers, 369. Look for them everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to deviate here a minute because I see somebody here I didn't see earlier, and I don't want to mispronounce your name, but Paula, is that how you say your name? Ortez?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, I don't think you have shared with us yet. So would you just share what you do to stay grounded?
Well, I'm a entrepreneur. I'm a mompreneur, actually, mom of 2. So to stay balanced, I try not to make so many appointments on a day. So I have my limit on 4 during the morning. I try to spend time with my boys. If not, I regret. I always regret. So I have realized that. And that's on the evenings. And also I do meditation, praying, and try to work out 3 times a week. So if I keep that points up, I'll stay focused and balanced, because I know that I'm doing something productive. And also I measure my results every end of the week.
And can you share a tip?
Well, share a tip. That's kind of tough because, you know, I'm a mom of 2 that they are little. So I don't think I'm able to share tips by this stage of my life. It's hard. I haven't figured it out at all.
It'll come to you. We'll move over to Rhonda if she'll share a tip
Okay.
with us, closing tip.
I'd like to read a tip, which is not
Okay.
for myself, but from a gentleman named Alan Alda, which some of you may know as an actor. Be brave enough to live creatively. The creative is the place where no one else has ever been. You have to leave the city of your comfort and go into the wilderness of your intuition. You can't get there by bus, only by hard work, risking, and by not quite knowing what you're doing. What you'll discover will be wonderful, yourself.
Wonderful. I like that. Definitely. How about you, Nisha?
One tip is always lead with your heart. I promise you it never disappoints and it never lets you down.
Listen to your heart. Absolutely. Thank you.
I want to
Anita.
add something.
Okay, sure. Go.
Build yourself as you. You should focus on yourself
Mhm.
and make yourself happy. Remove 5 people from your life who are making you negative. Always be positive. Start your day with an action plan. Without an action plan, there is no goal, and without a goal, there is no life. So
Wow.
thank you.
Yeah, very, very good. Okay, Vanita.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. Just be your authentic self and trust. Just know that every day is different and it will run its course. So let it be. That's my tip.
Wow, that's a good one too. Okay, we're coming to about the last 10 minutes of this gathering, and we've lost some people along the way because of other appointments. But if anyone has more that, sometimes as people talk and share things, other things come to mind. And oh, I can say that. I can share this or that. And I'd like to give you that moment. So is there anything like an afterthought that came to someone as you were listening to everyone, or if not that, then maybe share with us who was the one most influential person in your life that really set the stage for you, that really helped you make a difference or caused you to take that turning point you needed to make. Do you have that person you can talk about? Anyone? No one? And I'm sure you have been that. Well, you know what? I'm going to take you back to high school, junior high with mine. And I'm going to be very careful how I say this because I don't want it to be taken wrong. Okay. I grew up in a very white neighborhood. All right. And when we moved to another neighborhood, it was mixed. And I went to a school, the original school was all white, and I didn't know anything different. You were going back to the 50s and 60s. And the new neighborhood was black and white. And the school was black and white. And I didn't quite know how to handle that because I had not had that exposure as a young child. Okay. And I had some fear put into me about Black people. And when I went to school, I was scared. And I was in English class, and the teacher was Swedish, very white Swedish. And she was dissecting sentences on the board. This is 7th grade. And I had not had that training at the school I just came from, where you draw a line and you do this thing and you do the prepositional phrase. And I'm looking at that thing, and what is she doing? And she put up a sentence and asked me, as the new kid in class, to come up and dissect that sentence, do the diagram. I had no idea what she was doing. She had me in tears, literally in tears, and embarrassed me to no end in that class. My next class was literature, and the teacher was African American. And I sat in that class, and I went all the way to the back of the room because I saw the teacher in our color, and I thought, oh my God, now I'm really scared, And you have to put yourself into a 7-year-old's mind. And I went to the back of the room, and she taught the literature class. And as I'm leaving, she goes, my maiden name was Ham, by the way, H-A-M, if you can believe that it was. He says, Miss Ham, would you say back? Oh my God, I thought, now I'm in trouble. I was literally shaking, scared. She says, what's wrong? She just sat down across from me with such sincerity in her eyes and said, what is wrong? And I told her, I broke down, I lost it. And she says, well, we're going to take care of that. What's your next class? I said, study hall. She goes to stay here. And she says, I'll give you a pass. So she took the time and she explained that sentence to me. She explained how to do the subject, the verb, and do a line, and then the prepositional phrase goes down here. She explained that whole thing to me, and then she had me do a simple sentence. She took the time with me, and all of a sudden, I stopped seeing color. I actually, at that moment, stopped seeing the color of people's skin. What I started seeing was their heart and their intention. And I never forgot that. And I'm getting emotional as I talk about it. But she was my turning point. She was mine. What is yours? Do you have one? And I'm so grateful to her. Her name was Mrs. Sturgis. Mrs. Sturgis. I'm so grateful to her.
If we'd like to continue with school stories, I
Yeah.
had a geography teacher when I was in the 7th grade. Her fiance had died in World War I, and she decided she was never going to have anybody else in her life. And she was a wonderful teacher. So every summer, when there were 3 months off from school, she got on an airplane and went somewhere in the world. And when you walked into this lady's room, her name was Miss Snyder, it looked like a museum. And every time we opened the geography book and it said, okay, today we're going to talk about the Netherlands, she walked over to some big cabinet, opened the doors, pulled out something with Delft porcelain that looked like a windmill or something like that, and showed it to us. I grew up in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania, in a town with 4,000 people, and she showed me the world.
Wow. See, sometimes that inspiration is embedded as from our past.
Yeah.
And I think our past is a very important part of our today, and it certainly molds us for tomorrow. So today will be past. And it's part of that history. And history is so important. Anyone else have one to share, whether it could be school or friend or whatever it is, you must have one.
I have one to share. This
Thank
is
you.
Nisha.
Thank you.
My turning point was when I became pregnant at 14. I already didn't know myself for what to experience or expect in life. I just knew that at that moment I needed to protect my child from my family and the world. So when I gave birth at 15, I just felt like an adult, even though I was 15. I felt like I was an adult and I had to take on another life. And I had this huge responsibility. And today is her birthday. She is 27. And I was just like, there's no way I can do this because I didn't have that foundation growing up. But when I gave birth to her, she was almost 9 pounds. My life changed. I wanted things differently. I wanted to do more. I wanted to be more involved in her life and show her a different way. And when I tell you, we grew up together, it was almost like I was raising my little sister. So she
Wow.
definitely changed my life. And I don't even know how I'm not in tears just thinking about her. But that was my main turning point in my life.
Wow, that is precious. Anyone else? Because these are so good. They're such great stories. It's great sharing.
Um,
Pauline.
I'll share one. I was born in a very loving, happy Catholic family in North London. And I didn't like upsetting anybody. I didn't like conflict. But I can remember very clearly sitting in a pew in the church, and the sermon was all about hell and damnation. And I remember sitting there thinking, I reckon if God is good, he wouldn't have hell. But I'm not going to tell anybody. And that was my decision point. I thought, no, I'm not going to believe in that. I'm going to believe in love and a good God. But I didn't share it with anybody because I was nervous that my mother or my dad, who weren't, they were very loving people. But I didn't know then how to deal with something as important as that. So I just kept it to myself. And I think that's been a driver for me, is that sometimes when things are really curious and I don't really understand, I just make a decision inside. You don't need to share everything with other people. It's okay.
Thank you. That was beautiful and touching. Anyone else? We have we have 5 more minutes left. Anyone else have something they can share?
I think it's amazing to see how women are becoming diverse now, and I love the diversity, you know, women doing things which they haven't done before, and they're getting into professions like, you know, like women pilots. I don't imagine like women pilots around 10 years back, but now when you see women are, you know, flying planes and they're driving, you know, like bicycles and like electric, you know, vehicles, etc. You know, the women are coming into all sorts of diverse fields which they haven't done before. So I think there's a lot of like diversity now, and like moving forward, I can see, you know, women leaders, you know, like coming on like leadership roles where there were not much, like many women leaders. So now, you know, seeing, you know, I mean, I can talk about Asia, that, you know, I can see a lot of like women, like leadership role in banks and other financial institutions and other like legal roles where people are now like valuing women and they want to give chance to women to come on a leadership role. So I think women are creating that impact,
Yeah.
surprisingly. Thank you.
Yeah, that brings to mind, and I probably won't say this verbatim, but it's from the Dalai Lama. I remember I read it in a newspaper so many years ago, but he said it will be a woman. I can't remember how he said it, but he said it will be a Western woman that actually will change the world. And I think he said that back in 2008 or something. Did anyone recall that interview? But he did say, I have the quote in my file because it touched me. It says, but he said it will be a Western woman that would actually change the world. So
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah, so Rabia, did I say your name correctly, Rabia?
Rabia Omar, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm also author of a book. I have done some research on international like criminal court Hague, and my topic was critical analysis on ICC Hague. So I'm the only student from Pakistan. I did my law degree in 2018. I'm an MPhil in law, and my major subject was international law. So I like studying a lot. I'm planning to do my PhD. I'm already registered in 2 universities, thinking where to go now. So yeah, I really want to like study like international laws and all about different countries and their cultures and stuff. It's interesting.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for being willing to share so much and to inspire others, because whatever you shared here will be shared forever, because this video is not going away. It'll stay in the YouTube channel, the Global Chamber YouTube channel, forever. But I do want to close with something. During COVID was kind of like a turning point for me, because I was so used to writing and doing seminars on business etiquette, protocol, international protocol, professional presence, etc. And then I decided, and maybe it was that purple flower. I knew the purple flower was coming. I didn't quite understand it yet, but the spirituality segment hit my life, and I became very, very curious. And as a result of that curiosity, I wrote a book, Mindfulness and Health Watch, which is a journal. It's a workbook journal. But what I'm going to do is read on the back of it. Every book I write now has this on the back, because I think it means so much. And it's a constant reminder to myself. And so I want it to be a constant reminder to my readers. So I make sure that this little clip that I'm going to give you right now, that I'm going to close with, is on the back of everything I write. Number 1, it says, keep the faith, because faith opens unexpected doors. It says, have hope, because hope never gives up. And then journal each day's positive moment. That's what this is all about, because it keeps you and everyone else inspired. And with that, thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure hearing all the stories and being inspired by all of you.
Thank you. Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you. Thank you, Gloria. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, we are done.
Thank you.
Thank you.